And the minute that I turned my face, away, to pick the call, Dara dashed off. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me on Unlocking Minds on Autism by Ronki Moore. Today, we'll be talking on top safety tips, that is security in your home, around your home, in your community, and everywhere else. So this is a very important topic to discuss, especially if you have toddlers who are typical, and are always moving around. And also if you have children living with autism. So you might want to check and wait until the end of this video to see which one is applicable to you or which of the strategies can be very helpful for you as a parent. So the topic of safety is really, really something that has been on my mind to talk about. I'm going to be sharing with you a lot of things that we've done with Daniel while growing up. That is what we did in the past and what we are currently doing also, with Dara. Now, the first thing that I would like to talk about is you need to declutter your home, or you need to childproof your home. Now, what I mean is that, all those things that we unknowingly or unconsciously leave on the floor, or things that we just put outside and, just unconsciously sometimes. And these things are very or might be harmful to children. So, like having cords all around your home, not putting them together or taping them to the wall if need be, or, not hanging some of your wall portraits that are supposed to be on the wall, but you have them on the floor. Those are some of the things that you might have to keep off from children. You might also want to pick, some of the cleaning materials that you use for your kitchen, for your bathroom. If you have a closet, it's okay to keep them in there. Now, for children who are able to open the cabinets, you might want to try to get some locks. That might be helpful. Or you keep it at the top of your cabinet where they are unable to reach. You know how our toddlers or our children, they like to just move around and see, just in search of different things, different stuff. And that way, you are able to keep those harmful things away, just in case you're not around, you're not available, you're not close to them, and they're not, touching some of those things. You might also want to keep some of your medications or any medications around you away from little children or those tiny objects, because I've seen cases of children who swallow safety pins, who have swallowed a lot of harmful things. So that way, you want to keep them around. You want to constantly check what you have in your home that might be detrimental or harmful to your child. Now, for some children, like children who are on the autism spectrum, who are not even aware of the environment, you want to be extra, extra careful. So while Daniel was young, we had a gate, to secure our little space so that Daniel does not go beyond, the stairs, because our former house has the stairs by our corridor. So we had to buy a gate in order to keep Daniel safe. This is someone that loves to walk around on the home. Either we are around him or we're not. So we're able to use very small gates to be able to keep him safe. So if you're able to get that, please check, on Amazon, or this is not an ad for, that company, but I'm just saying things that can help you childproof your home. Another thing we did was, when we noticed that Daniel was frequently go into the refrigerator, we had to buy like the child lock, the lock for the refrigerator. We got it too from the same place that I mentioned before. So the lock, we got the ones with the key, and then we got the one that you can just stick on your refrigerator. That was very helpful. So once Daniel got to the refrigerator, at that time, he was unable to open the refrigerator, only when we use our key or we take off the childproof lock. Sometimes when you're cleaning, you're able to find some of these things because it's not everything that, as a parent, you can see. But when you try to clean often, you try to keep things away, you might be able to find some of those things that might be harmful, to your child. I know that with children with autism, there's something that they also do. They wander away or they try to escape, from your house or from wherever you are. I remember sometimes, I think it was last year, on one of our visits to a popular park. And, myself, my husband, Daniel, Daniela, and Dara, we were together. We were watching. Also at that time, my husband, was ailing from stroke. So, we just want to go out more and make sure that our children are having that time with us, and also having that playtime in order to also keep them away from using, their screens, like the telephone, like the iPad and stuff like that. So on this day, we went to the park, and I think I received a call in the middle of, while we were playing and running around, I received a call. And the minute that I turned my face, away from, to pick the call, Dara dashed off. So immediately I turned back, I saw her, and of course, I saw my husband running after Dara, but because, like I said before, he had stroke, it was just ailing. And Dara took off, and my husband started, he tried as much as possible to catch up with Dara, but he couldn't. So I followed after Dara. I ran after her, and that moment was very surreal to me. But because this park is by a road where you're supposed to drive 25 miles per hour, but for some reasons, people drive about 40 miles per hour. And I was just praying in my mind, like, oh my gosh, I wish this girl, just falls or just stop. She was looking back and at the same time smiling and kept running. Now, like I said before, this is a very busy road where cars, trucks, they pass almost every time. And as she was about to approach the main road, I mean, literally like 2 steps away, Dara fell to the floor. I was really happy. I caught up with her, and I had to hold her back, to the park, and then we left. That was really, really mind blowing, mind blowing. And I was so confused. I lost it. I was scared. I was so nervous because there will be cars coming, flying that road. And I was just thankful, to God that she didn't drive off to the road, because what would I have said, right? God knows how to keep our children safe. But anyway, so that happened. And then that brought about the safety concern. And that was like an eye opener for me to say, look, when we go to the park, no calls. I will solely dedicate that time to watching them. Even any extra minute, my eyes are not off my children. I begin to now consciously watch. When we go to the park, we're together, we're running together, we're doing stuff together, no distractions at all. So we were able to also put in more effort to say that keeping our phones at home or in the car might be helpful. That way no one is distracted. Moving on, another thing that I also want to share is that I know that kids living with autism sometimes are drawn to water. I don't have an idea why, but they are drawn, to water. I've not researched why they do that, but that I know. Now, there was this story, this sad story that I heard literally a few months back, that happened in Texas about a young lady that drowned. I think she left her home in the evening and it was dark on the street. Then the parents called, of course, reached out to the police to say, here, our child, their child was missing and they needed to seek for help. The police officers launched a search team for this child and they keep, looking around the lakes, everywhere, the bushes. In few hours later, I think the next morning, they found this young lady dead, you know, in the lake. And that broke my heart because this is a lady who is nonverbal and, just walked out of our house. So it's very important if you're living near a lake or you have, ponds around you, any kind of water, please be watchful. Now, coming to that story, you know, every family is different, but I will also want to suggest that you want to try to have extra locks and keys on your doors. You want to get extra locks for your patio doors and also for your main doors as well. So for your main door, you want to also get an alarm such that when anyone opens your door, you are able to know. Those alarms when you open the door, then the alarm sets off. Those are the kind of safety, locks that you want to get, for your children, especially the ones that are on the autism spectrum. At this point, we'll continue to pray for our children, but safety is very, very important. Another thing that I also want to share with you is for you to check with your local police what they have available for, your child or children living with autism. I remember sometimes, I think at the beginning of this year, our local police organized an event where I think it was an inclusion event, for typical and also for children living with autism and other developmental disabilities. And we met at a karate place. It was really a big place in our town. The police were there, they brought in their canine dogs to talk about them. These local police officers, they told us that their minds are with our families and they are willing to do, everything to support our children who are living with autism. So they provided us with a form to complete. This form is to register your child and say, this is my address, this is, my child, this is his or her diagnosis, such that when your child is in crisis or you have some safety concerns, they go in and check, your address, everything about your child, and then they show up. In the form, they provided you with an option where you can share if your child is sensitive to lightning or their siren. In case your child have this crisis or safety concern, they know how to show up at your door. They were able to also provide us with stickers, most especially, parents of children living with autism. I have the sticker at the back of my car. I remember the last time, I think I went to an event with Daniel and Daniela. On our way coming, I was really speeding. Before I could say Jack, I saw the cops right in front of me, and I decided to slow down. This guy turned and came after us. At first, I guess it was, trying to look for my information. At the end of it, we parked. When we parked, he saw the sticker at the back of my car, and then he walked up to me, telling me, oh, you were speeding, you were 5 miles above the speed limit. And I apologized. And then, we got talking. Daniel was trying to say hi, and I think he got the message. And he was like, okay, I'll let you go, but this is a warning, I guess you already found out that we have some kind of information in their system. And that was really helpful. You need to see Daniel. He was anxious. I could tell in his face, like, why are we stopping? Why is this guy talking to my mom, a stranger? And at the end of it all, he felt, much better. And then we left. So please check with your local police what they have available for your family. I hope this was helpful to you. If you don't mind sharing some of the security, things that you've put in place for your toddlers, for children with autism, for your typical child, I think that'll be helpful. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support as always. And I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.